Hit them fast.
Chicago Med, Fire, and PD. All new episodes Wednesdays on City TV.
What a night.
Or stream on City TV Plus, the app, or citytv.com.
This is Rogers TV, Grey County.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Thanks for joining us. We are here at the Owen Sound Salmon Spectacular here in beautiful Georgian Bay. I'm here with Chris McKee, the co-chair of the Salmon Spectacular. Thank you for giving us some time. I know this is a busy time for you. This is day
6 today.
Day 6 out of a 10-day?
10-day event, yeah. So it started August the 26th on the Friday, and it goes till September the 3rd. And throughout the 10 days, we have everything from Ladies' Day to Seniors' Day, which is happening right now today here in the tent. First 100 seniors that come in, they get a jar of honey.
Oh my!
And then it goes right into a bingo, and then we have a Garth Brooks tribute this afternoon, and draws, and so on and so on. So it's really not a fishing derby, it's a fishing festival.
It's a that's a good way to put it, because not everyone is a fisher like myself. I'm not a fisher, but or fish woman, I should maybe say. But there's lots of things going on here, and you've got some really cool displays. I was here on Saturday, and I loved the wood carver.
He was amazing. Mike Winia, he's a Canadian champ out of London. Next year, he likes it so much, and he keeps coming back every year. He's coming back for the whole 10 days next year. And he's talking about bringing some of his friends that they have the show on TV where they build the log cabins. So yeah, it keeps growing. And that's the good thing about the derby. There's different stuff every year.
Yeah, and it does. It makes it interesting. Yeah. When you first started, so this is year 30?
This is year 34.
Wow.
And this whole event evolved around our fish hatchery. So what was happening is we were stocking salmon, and the salmon were coming up in their 4-year cycle, dying, and they were starting to stink up the riverbanks. So we said, we got to start to harvest some of these fish. We hired guys to go and put the fish back into the water, so that, because that's all feed for the young and the fry. So we got together a group of people and said, why don't we start a fishing derby? So we started a fishing derby in 1988, and it was only, if you take a look at the weigh station, it was only the green weigh-in station that was here, nothing else.
Nothing else.
That was it.
No tent?
No tent. It was just the weigh-in station. And then we had a hay wagon where we gave the prizes and the boats. And and I remember the first year it rained, so it was a wet and soggy event, but everybody associates, rubber boots and fishing poles to a derby, but it continually grew out of that to what we have today. We used to have individual tents where we would have 3 tents. You'd have to go from one tent to the other, and it just wasn't working for us. So I hooked up with a tent company out of London, Big Top Tent, and this tent can go 300 feet wide and 300 feet long. It's 300 by 100 right now.
Wow.
So, and everything's under the tent.
Everything's under the tent. Which is perfect. It makes it a much more enjoyable fish festival because of that.
It grew over the years to having entertainment, and then we kind of lost touch with the fishermen and with the entertainment, and it was people were coming down, and they were enjoying themselves, having a few drinks. But what we decided to do was bring it back this year to a family affair. and it only goes till 10 o'clock now. It used to go till 12. And we shut down everything at 10:30. And for the first time, my wife and I got home last night at 12 o'clock, where we would have been home at 3:30 in the morning from other. So it's a little bit easier on the volunteers.
Yes.
But it's also, we're bringing it back to the family festival. We had the fish pond here on the weekend where we had 500 rainbow trout, and it was a phenomenal hit. Kids that haven't fished had the opportunity to come in and fish, and all the kids were catching fish. So
oh, wonderful.
It was amazing. We had a cleaning crew there where we cleaned the fish. Some parents wanted to let the fish go. Some wanted to take them home and cook them up and eat them. So, but we had 5 rainbow trout that were over 8 pounds. And
wow.
If any kids caught that 5-pounder, they want a bike, we gave 5 bikes away.
Oh, that is so neat.
Yeah, so it was, it's been an all-around great weekend. We had, like I say, Mike Winia and the fish pond, and then we had Kids Day, we had Yamaha Day. So it just keeps going day after day. Today's the Seniors Day, tomorrow's Molson's Day, Friday's Giant Tiger Back to School fashion show, and then Saturday's our big fish fry, where we'll probably serve over 3,000 people on Saturday.
Oh my word.
So, yeah.
Okay, so you're feeding 3,000 people. Where do you get the fish?
The fish is all donated from the fishermen, and they get a lure and a fish fry ticket when they donate a fish. Oh. And a lot of fishermen come here, they're out of town, and they want to fish and catch the big one, and they just don't have the facilities to keep it, so they donate it. And then we turn it back into the fish fry where the people can enjoy fresh fish.
Well, it just makes sense, which is
it's a win-win for both parties.
It is a win-win for both parties. So how many fish are coming in every day?
So the first day we had 380. The second day was actually more than the first day, which is unusual. And then it's gone down from there, but weather plays a factor in it. So like today is really windy. We won't have a lot of fish. We'll get over 100, but it's tougher for the fishermen because it's very wavy.
Very wavy, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what sends the fish in though? For people that aren't fish smart,
So right now is the spawning of salmon. It's their 4-year cycle. So when we got that rain, a lot of the fish were coming in to go up to the river to spawn. There's already fish at the mill dam. And September is their big month for when they go up and spawn, and that's when we get our fish eggs for our fish hatchery that we run, and we stock about 100,000 salmon and about 80,000 rainbow a year. And all the money, 100% of the money goes back into the resource. And that's one thing about this derby that I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And I gotta say, my dad was the one that really started with several other individuals, but it was the heart and soul of this derby. And we got a boat named after him, the Fred Jacob Bird. And
nice. It's a great tribute. Yeah, it certainly is.
For sure.
And he was very involved when the Sydenham Sportsman first started. It wasn't about this. Like 34 years ago, you were doing so much fish and wildlife work.
We were doing stream enhancement. And we go back into the days with Ozzie MacArthur and Jim Weir, and they used to take it out to the kids to school programs. And Oz was just instrumental in our stream work and some of the rivers in the Upper Sydenham brown trout. So the club is the Sportsman Club itself. Was started in 1947, and it's our 75th anniversary this year.
Amazing.
So it's a long time, and the club is so multifaceted. We got our hunting or our shooting ranges, we got trap, we got skeet, we got handgun, shotgun, 22 high powered. So you got a facet of that, and then you have another group where they really involved in bluebird boxes and then deer habitat and wildlife areas, and then you got tree planting, and we have a wildlife center out at the club property where that's all they do is build bird boxes and feeders and we get people to sponsor for wood and nails and different things to build all that stuff. But it's we're not so much of a social club, more of a conservation is the ultimate aim.
Right.
And then it spins off into other functions, which we got a really, really good working executive right now. Scott Grimbleby is our president, and he's been our president for, I think, 7 years, and one heck of a good guy. He's kept us on the railway track, and as they say, they have a captain of the ship that steers everything. Scott has done that very well.
That's right. Yeah, that's wonderful. I know I have utilized your woodworking shop. I have to admit, I'm a frequent flyer there buying bluebird boxes.
Yep.
So it was back in the day when Lauren Smith got me hooked on bluebirds.
Yep.
Yes. And to this day, I'm still going back and I'm buying bluebirds and then calling in my tally.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't have to be all about guns, rifles, and a fishing rod.
No.
It can be so much more.
You'll find, though, that I'm a hunter, I'm a fisherman. I spend probably 90% of my time raising money for the cause of outdoors and conservation than I do even hunt and fish.
Yeah.
So I know some people don't like hunting, but as my dad always said, it's a natural way of controlling populations. And we are the ultimate meat eaters. So, you know, when you shoot a deer, you utilize the resource.
Yes.
And that's really important for people to remember.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And especially when coyote populations, all that stuff. So
it makes me laugh in Toronto when you hear that they got, they've sighted a bear. They've sighted, if they only knew that bear population, when a young bear, especially a male, after a year, the mom kicks him out. So he's got to find his own territory. So what do? They go south.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with that. And it's Mother Nature at its best.
Yeah,
and same with coyotes. Same thing, The coyotes are turning where they're attacking little dogs and stuff because people are feeding them.
Yeah.
And it's with anything. You feed something, they'll continue to bother you. So it's so important to get across to people that leave them alone.
They'll go
home. Let them be and don't feed them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have to ask, what's behind us? There's been so many people going to a little freezer, opening up the door and closing it.
So when somebody gets a big fish, they're interviewed, the fish is tagged, and it comes over into this freezer here.
So this is the big one?
This is the big one. So you got your lake trout, you got your rainbow, and you got your salmon.
Wow.
And if you take a look there, the lake trout, which is 24.44, is almost as big as the salmon, 25.
Is that normal?
So, yeah, lake trout get big.
So this is a salmon here,
that's
right?
the salmon, yep.
And then
That's the rainbow, and this is the lake trout. And each person that is in those categories win a boat.
What?
So, yeah,
really?
The salmon's going to win the boat the salmon's going to win the boat that's adjacent behind us here, or right in front of us. Then the one behind that is the rainbow boat. That's the Fred J. Gebert, where it's got his picture on. And the one in behind right here is the lake trout boat.
And every day?
Not every day. It's the overall.
The overall.
So one of the things I want to mention too is it takes 250 sponsors to put this event on. And if we didn't have them, the boats are provided by Yamaha Motors and Advanced Marine and Owen Sound, and if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have the event. So it's huge, the sponsor participation. But then I want to talk about, we got the fish boards here. So this is each day. You got the 10 top trout, and then you got your leading rainbow, leading brown, and leading lake trout.
So it's not specific to just salmon.
No.
It's fish.
It's fish,
It's fish.
And then behind us here, you have the top 10 salmon each day. And we're often referred to as the derby that give away 28 boats. So each person each day is going to win a canoe for a salmon and a canoe for a trout.
I didn't know that. When I seen your poster of all the sponsors that you have and the boats listed, and I've seen your volunteers selling tickets, I never occurred to me.
That's a totally another boat too.
So
that's the draw boat, and that will be drawn on Sunday, September the 4th, about 5:40.
Wow.
So that's our recreational draw.
This is amazing. Thank you so much, Chris, for having the time.
No problem.
I know you're your toothpicks are in your eyes trying to keep them open. So I
am
certainly
tired,
appreciate it.
especially midweek. But this event is a community event. And some people think that we may lose focus with, the entertainment and everything, but it's about the community and bringing money back into the resource.
Right.
And there's all kinds of other events out there that, they'll have their own thing, and it goes to other community functions, but this one here, it goes right back to the resource, and that's why I do it.
And that's why you do it.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for doing it, and thanks for your time.
No.
We're going to have a little peek around the tent.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't care what the law is. I will never be a slave. That word, I hate it. It rests on my tongue like rot.
Peter, how does it feel to get paid for your work?
There are rumors freedom's coming for us all.
Freedom, you know that's all I want.
Chloe, careful. Real men would rather sell you across the river to America than let you go free.
Then I'll run.
I've run before. Maybe this time for good.
Just get her into a boat. No!
Chloe! Chloe, no!
Word of Chloe Cooley's resistance led to Canada's first legislation limiting slavery. After 200 years, slavery was abolished in Canada in 1834.
We are back from break, and I have stumbled across a very interesting display here at the Salmon Spectacular. Ross has been filling me in on some grueling but true facts on what's in our lake. What do you have here captive in the aquarium?
Yeah, so we have some invasive sea lamprey. These are an invasive species that came from the Atlantic Ocean about 100 years ago. So they were in Lake Ontario for about 1830s to about the 1920s. Once the Welland Canal was widened and deepened, they were able to bypass the falls, and by 1937 they invaded the rest of the Great Lakes.
Amazing. They're gross. I don't know what other term to even use. Did any of these come in on the fish that were brought in to be weighed?
Absolutely. So you'll
Really?
notice in here, so there's a couple that are brown, but then there's one that's silver. So the silver indicates that they're still in that parasitic phase. So the color of the sea lamprey will actually change depending on what life stage they're in. So
Okay.
the silver, when they're actually going to be in the deeper, darker parts of the water. So they have that kind of darker skin color to camouflage more with the surrounding environment.
And is this an actual adult, like it's
Yeah,
going to get bigger, or that's the
it's
extent
about
of it?
as big as it'll get. So it goes from, so that parasitic phase, they'll spend about 12 to 18 months out in the lakes feeding on fish. In that time, they'll kill about 40 pounds of fish, each one of those will. And then once they're done gorging themselves, they will actually turn their attention to spawning because they die after they spawn. They will actually take all of their available energy
Right.
and put it into spawning. So that's where these guys, these brown guys,
And
have run upstream to be ready to
and
spawn.
they go upstream to spawn the same as the salmon do.
Exactly. So they're kind of similar to salmon in that they start their lives out in the streams, go out into the lakes, then run back up to the streams to spawn and die.
Oh my gosh. Can we have a closer look at it?
Of course we can, yes. Let me go ahead and grab one here.
Oh my.
And you can see, I mean, this is a pretty big specimen as far as the lampreys go. So the full-grown adults will be about, on average, 16 to 18 inches. The good news is, even though he's attached to my hand, he will not be drinking my blood because we are warm-blooded creatures. But that suction is extremely strong. So we estimate the suction is about 5 times as strong as a vacuum cleaner. So once it's attached to a fish,
Yes.
it really is attached. So
And then it bores a hole into the fish?
exactly. In the middle of its mouth, they have what's called the rasping tongue. Let me see if I can get it
Oh my
off
God. he won't get off. Oh!
Yeah, so here you go. So you can take a look in the middle of its mouth. They have what's called the rasping tongue. And so they use that kind of, it's almost like a drill bit, where they bore into the side of the fish's flesh and start drinking their blood. And what's super interesting is once the blood starts flowing, they will excrete an enzyme that acts like an anticoagulant so that the blood does not clot and continues to flow. So they are, as bad as they are very interesting creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to? Oh my God. Ah!
Okay, that's enough.
That's enough? All right. Oh no, it's not gonna come off. Ah!
Okay, I'll check that off my bucket list.
Yeah, you've officially been attacked by sea lampreys. Yes, yes.
I can't imagine that being on the side of a fish. Like
yeah.
Yeah,
and so we estimate, they're very deadly, so we estimate 6 out of every 7 fish attacked by sea lampreys end up dying.
So what are you doing to prevent this from happening and spreading in the Great Lakes?
Absolutely, yeah, great question. So what we do is we use this pesticide called TFM. And so what we do is we are targeting the larval stage of the sea lamprey's life cycle. Right. So as I mentioned, they're up in the rivers and streams. And the larvae are harmlessly buried into the stream bed, filter feeding. And they'll be in there from anywhere from 3 to 5, sometimes as many as 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And so we apply this TFM in streams where we know there are high concentrations of those larvae. But what is remarkable about TFM and is what has contributed to our success is that TFM is selective. So it does not harm any of the other organisms in the ecosystem. So that is part of the reason that we've been so selective and been so successful rather. And reduce the populations by over 90% in most areas of the Great Lakes. So we're very much winning the battle against sea lamprey.
Wonderful. I'm glad you are working at trying to win the battle because this is something I would have nightmares about. So thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
And this has been a great experience.
Well, thanks so much for being brave enough to have the sea lampreys attack you and talk with me.
I know, no nightmares, no nightmares. Yeah, you're Bruce. Hi, Bruce, and this is Captain Jerry.
I'm the captain.
You're the captain. Okay, my life's in your hands.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, we've got one down.
Likely about 70 feet.
Yeah.
So now we're picking up the cannonball.
This one has the temperature probe on so we can see speed and temperature at the cannonball, which is very important to catch these salmon. They like a certain temperature, 53 degrees. The right action on these lures is going to be 2.2 mile an hour is what we're going to strive for. Not sure we can achieve it in this wind very well, but we're going to do the best we can. So we got a flasher with a little squid on here. We've gotten a few with it during the derby here. We're going to see if it can wake some salmon up today.
This is very educational. Why such a big flashy spoon? That's to get their attention, or?
So what the fish see, the salmon see this or sense it as a school of fish. The flasher, it's making a big circle, and
so it's making the end dance.
It goes around. This one follows, and they look at this as the weak one, and they always take the weak one. It's the easiest. So they come from behind. That's why this one has the hook on and nothing else.
Got the hook. This is a whole fish philosophy 101. And the cannonball keeps it
Takes it
at a certain depth.
Yeah.
Of your choice.
Of
right?
your choice.
Of your choice.
We're going to run this one a little closer to the temperature probe because we want to know the exact speed of the lure and the temperature where the lure is.
And this is your temperature?
That's the temperature probe and the speed probe down at the cannonball.
Oh. And your cannonball is not technically a ball. It looks like a dart.
call it a torpedo.
A torpedo.
It follows through the water. It cuts through the water a whole lot nicer.
Than the ball.
It doesn't wander around, so
that
we
makes
know
sense.
where we're going.
How many rods are we fishing with?
We're going to use 2 today, I think, with this wind. That third one's going to get entangled up here, I think.
I'm surprised that your lines don't cross each other.
They sometimes do. You get a fish on.
Oh yeah, that would be a bit of a nightmare, wouldn't
You
it?
make too sharp of a turn, they can get tangled up with these flashers, but especially if we get a fish on here today, you know, we want to keep them at different levels. We got to keep an eye on that all the time.
That makes sense. And we'll be able to watch that on your lovely fish finder that you have here?
We should be able to see all the stuff here. How deep are we? 116?
116.
Yeah, afternoon, everybody usually goes in. Sometimes they have an afternoon bite, but...
Oh, there's a little hook.
Oh, there is a fish down there.
Not a big one.
At 80 feet?
Yeah.
That's 80. I'm gonna drop that down there. Oh, we tripped there. No, I think we just the flasher. We had a knockoff. If there's a fish on there, it's pretty small. No. Just a knockoff. We know we got the right bait on. Yep.
So how long have you guys been fishing together? Because there's quite a comedy hour that's been going on, which has been hilarious. It's all part of the fishing fun.
Well, I got to know Jerry when we came up here. We met him in the marina at one of the events, and him and his wife and my wife, we became friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, likely, what, six or 8 years ago now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you've been fishing up here as part of the Sydenham Sportsman Salmon Spectacular, or just above and beyond that?
Yes.
For sure. I've been fishing in it since basically day one. Used to fish off the bank. We evolved to a boat. The boat's fun, you know, we're out here having a great time. Lots of things go out here, and Jerry and I have fished together for quite a few
years now.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's the biggest fish you've caught?
Well, Jerry, they were on the board last year. What was?
Oh, you were on the board?
We had second place of the day with I believe it was 19 something, 19 and change. Yeah.
And I didn't realize until today that a fish wins a boat or a canoe.
Canoe. Ours was a second place fish, so it had a kayak.
You had
attached
a kayak
with the package. Yep.
Wow. I forgot to ask, this boat that you have refurbished, did you put a name on it?
It's not in print yet, but we're going to call it We're On.
We're On.
We're On. We got fish on, so that's going to be the name. It's coming. Want to maybe put a wrap around it, finish the outside. We've done the inside now, and that's part of the wrap. We're going to call it We're On. It's going to be put on once the boat comes out of the water.
Wow.
It's supposedly bad luck to change the name of the boat in the water, so we got to wait till the fall.
Got to wait till the fall.
Yeah, and
well, this has been an absolute fantastic experience. Bruce and Jerry, they have been great entertainment out here on the boat, and I've learned a lot. So thank you very much for this wonderful experience today.
You're welcome back anytime on the boat. Thanks for letting us take you out.
It's been fun.
Great.
It ain't over yet. We still got to troll in.
True.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.